This isn't exactly the video I thought I'd be making today, but here we are. As many of you guys are aware, Hypixel hosted a Wool Wars tourney over the weekend, and I don't think it could have had a worse outcome. Around 3 hours before the tourney was supposed to end, Hypixel decided to cancel the tourney, after letting an entire 45 hours play out. This was pretty heartbreaking for me, as I'd made the decision to skip my mother's funeral in order to have more time to play this tournament. And now, that was all for nothing. As far as I know, this is one of the first times Hypixel has fully cancelled a tournament midway through. And in the description I'll link the forums post so you can have a read for yourself. The reason it ended up getting called off is that there were serious bugs present in the competitive matchmaking system for the tourney. This meant that players who should have been in gold or diamond bracket ended up randomly fighting players in master or grandmaster brackets due to the matchmaking bugging out, and not putting players of equal skill against each other. As well as this, there was also a bug where players could randomly start their games in any bracket, rather than progressing through starter, gold, diamond, masters, then grandmaster brackets in a linear fashion. As you were awarded more points the higher bracket you won, players were able to completely skip the starter brackets and only play in grandmaster, meaning that if they won all 100 out of 100 games, the points received would exceed what the limit for max points should have actually been. Now, these bugs should absolutely not have been present in the first place. I remember when the tourney first came out, I was solo queuing on my ult and randomly getting thrown into grandmaster games, despite either losing or winning whilst in a low bracket such as starter, so I immediately knew something was fucked. The main concern I have with this is actually how Hypixel handled this after the fact. Now, I 100% agree with them that something had to be done about this, but I really wish they handled it a little differently, to be honest. The amount of time and energy players put into playing all 100 games can be genuinely exhausting, and I know myself and a lot of players put way too much time and energy into these tournaments to try and achieve a decent placement. Most players were spending between 6 to 18 hours playing, and what myself and a lot of others were disappointed about is the amount of fucking time that has just been thrown out the window with them cancelling this tourney altogether. I have a few friends that took the day off work just so they could play, and I myself did a lot to organize my IRL life to fit around this too. As we only get a tourney every 4 to 5 months, it tends to be a pretty big event. When looking at the forums too, the main concern that most people had was that the event was cancelled after everyone had played all their games, meaning thousands of hours were just completely lost. Everyone in our squad played around 300 games, with Papi playing close to 400, so that is a lot of time wasted for sure. We have to think that Hypixel should have either cancelled the tourney as soon as they were made aware of the glitch, around halfway through, or just adjusted points of the top 100 manually. They really should have given the people who put in the effort to get top 100 something back, but it's alright, we'll just have to win the next one again, I guess. Just cancel it when they patch the bug. Also, the fact that it took 22 hours to patch a game-breaking bug is crazy. I'm sure the Hypixel staff team put a lot of thought into their decision, but it feels really out of character for me. Personally, I don't understand why the staff couldn't have manually reset glitch points to match what they should have been. So if a player won all 100 out of 100 games, just adjust their score from 5,000 points down to 4,932. Or absolute worst case scenario, issuing punishments could have potentially been better for the general player base. In the past, staff have had no issue banning or wiping players that are either cheating or bug abusing in tournaments, and I understand that the matchmaking did change a few things, but cancelling the entire tournament feels well over the top. Hypixel did say they were going to rerun the tournament again in 2 weeks time, but I'm not sure I can even be bothered playing. By the end of this week's tournament, after playing all 100 games, I was so tired and burnt out from it that I genuinely never wanted to touch Wool Wars again, but I pushed myself to finish all my games because I was pretty determined to try and place well. And initially I was proud and thought it was worth fucking up my sleep schedule for, because I would only need to do this once. When I heard they cancelled it and are going again in 2 weeks, I genuinely don't think I'm going to bother again. It's a similar feeling to trying to complete a difficult video game level where you spend ages struggling through it, getting so close to the end, just for your console to crash and your autosave doesn't work. Most of the time you lose all motivation and can't be bothered going through it all over again. I think the main reason I'm so annoyed with this is because this is the first Hypixel tourney I actually tried in. In previous tournaments, the games were either ones I'd never played before or just games I sucked at, like Skywars or Blitz survival games. But I played a bit of Wool Wars and found it fun, and was genuinely super excited to get a team together and try hard for the span of the weekend. I ended up finishing my 100th game in 36th place, which was my first ever top 100 in any tournament ever. And that's what I originally thought this video would be about, where I could just share my team strategies and kits and interesting stuff about the games, as well as show some highlights. I don't actually want the footage I recorded to go to waste, so here's what my tournament experience was before the apocalypse. Initially, I had a few friends I was going to play with on the Saturday, where we'd done a little bit of scrims, ranked Wool Wars, as well as some public games for practice. But on the day of the tourney, I got a message from my teammate saying he couldn't play that night because he was going out drinking with some friends. So of course I was incredibly sad about this, and with tears running down my face, I depressedly started solo queuing the tournament on my old account. This is where I initially noticed the brackets were pretty fucked, as I went from starter bracket straight to grandmaster as a solo queue, and basically stayed in grandmaster bracket despite only maintaining a 2 win-loss ratio. By pure chance, I happened to queue with Emily's team as she was 3 queuing, where they recognized my alt's name and asked if I wanted to play. Emily is a Bed Wars player I've looked up to for ages, so with her, Time Pass, and weird MF, suddenly I had a pretty solid team to play with again. I think I played roughly 20 games with them before taking a break to eat. Well, my friend AJ asked if I wanted to sub into his team. AJ, Legitimate, Papi, and Snuggles were all in second place at the tournament at this point, so all of a sudden I was playing with some of the best players on the server, and played out the 80 games I had left with these boys, finishing in 36th place. I think I only lost one game with this party, which was to two B hoppers that were duo queuing.
There,
Go.
Oh fuck.
Full B hop.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Can't hit, fuck sake.
Report now. Like, I don't know
Maybe
what we do.
Archer.
Show me the name. Show me the name.
Put Archer.
It's HR Sniffic and
Yeah, I got it, I got it, I got
X blah blah blah.
Shot once.
Oh, one's coming.
Shot twice. Get out.
Other one's
Get out.
around. Other one's around.
Flake.
Mid.
Meta arrows.
Yeah, I'm at ours as well.
One's trying to chase me. I'm just running him.
One down, I think.
No,
I'm
no.
dead.
Wait, cool one.
Nice.
Fuck, I'm dead.
I'm
I'm out of arrows, bro.
Other one's
I'm out of arrows.
Other one's on 83 still. Fuck.
I'm dead, fuck's sake.
Everyone go Archer if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Target
We just
her
gotta hit our
sniper.
shots on the hoppers. Hit our shots on the hoppers.
Let me
Just
just stand up
strength,
here.
strength.
Strength.
Right. That's a non.
Got him,
Don't
got him,
focus
got him.
on. Okay, just blow the hopper. Ignore the other guy.
Hop. Wow, wait, whoever that is.
I'm dead, I'm dead.
Keep running.
I'm on.
He's on one.
Hopper's on one.
I'm just running.
Nice. We're good. We killed the hoppers.
You win this.
Yeah, I killed the other one. Oh my god.
While you fill, I'm gonna report again.
Yeah, report.
I'm
Keep reporting. Stall it out. Let this time
Yeah,
run out.
stall it. Leave it.
Instant health in spawn.
If they get the bonus wraps.
The one at mid is hopper. Mid.
Hopper's on half.
Wait, that guy's low.
Alex is low.
Alex, Don't let me get the answer. Oh my god, I got him.
Wait, nice. This one.
I'm dead.
Wait, they're filling.
I'm not dead yet.
No.
Fucking non.
Dude. Stop, really?
And this team finished with 99 out of 100 wins, which is a pretty insane accomplishment. I was super grateful to be able to play with these people, but I'm not sure I want to go through it all again. It's incredibly draining to stay focused on a competitive video game for that many hours in a row. And especially now where it all ended up being for nothing, I'm just not sure I want to put effort into playing a second tournament.
She wanders over to